Hello everyone, this is JelArts and I'm back with another video for you, and this time it's a hair tutorial, mainly like a female hair tutorial, and I'm just going to do the basic straight hair and then curly hair over here. So the first thing I do when I'm drawing hair is I try to kind of define the hairline a bit, and usually it kind of dips down in the middle and it kind of goes up at the sides. And it comes down kind of just above the ear like that. And this changes from person to person, so it's going to be different in each drawing that you do. And then I want to kind of outline the guidelines of the hair of where I want it to land. So this time I want to do a bit of bangs. So I'll do just like a basic outline there. And the middle of the hair, like the part line, I'll make it a middle part just to keep things simple. And the hair is going to go down like this. It's going to come out like this, and on this side it's going to go like that. So this is going to be kind of like a bob cut, kind of shoulder length style of hair. So now that I have the bangs, I have a few lines under here that are kind of making it confusing of where I want them to land, so I'll just erase them from behind. So this time I won't be needing the hairline guideline because the bangs are here. So the first thing I do usually is I start with the front of the hair. So I'll just add in some strands like this. And if you want to make them kind of more cartoony, you can make them kind of straight across at the bottom of them, rather than come to like a fine point everywhere. This kind of makes it look more stylized and cartoony, but you can do it however you want to do it. So these bangs are very like wide, kind of just like the basic straight across, completely just like cut bangs. But you can do side bangs or like kind of longer bangs that kind of cover half the face. You can do a bunch of different, but this is just your basic, covers the whole forehead kind of bangs. And then I come from the part line, and you want the lines to kind of come out, up, and down, because hair grows upwards. There's going to be a little bit of volume on the part line, so they should all come up a bit. I'm just going to erase some of the lines back here so I can see what I'm doing. And you can kind of add strands. You can make it come to like points down here if you want, or you can make it kind of straight like you did at the top, or you can make it kind of curved. I usually like to put some strands in front of the ear, just like this. I think it helps to frame the face nicely. I like to do that a lot in my drawings. It just adds a nice little flowy kind of movement to the hair. I usually like to do some loose strands as well, like that. Just like a flick of the wrist for each strand, kind of. Especially over here, I like to make it kind of frame the person's face by all curving inwards. This is just like a basic, your basic short, straight hair with the straight across bangs. And when I shade hair, I usually pick a light source. So let's say it's coming from over here. Let's say it's coming from right here, and it's shining that way. So I'd make these parts a bit darker. Darken them up a bit. And these parts would be lighter, so this might be darker. And wherever the hair gets kind of bigger and then goes to a tip, I usually make the tip of it darker, and then the part where it's smaller right before it gets to the bump in the hair, kind of right here, how it gets bigger around there, that would be like the light part, because it'll catch the light. That's just how I like to do it. And also from behind the ear, there'll be a bit of shadows. You'll notice most of my lines are just quick flicks because this is actually a pretty small drawing, so I don't need to make them long strokes. I always like to darken up the part area because that's where the hair kind of meets, and it'll be a little bit darker there, and also at the top of the bangs it'll be darker, and it will catch the light where it's the widest, usually is how people do it. So the bottom will be shaded and the top part will be shaded, but the middle part will leave a little bit lighter because that's where the shine's going to be. I'm just going to switch pencils here because the lead is kind of dark in that one. I meant to say it's kind of light in that one. So I always like to make it a big contrast between the dark and the light, especially if it's a fast sketch, because that will show you easily where your light source is without going into too much detail if it's just a sketch. But if you're actually drawing it, then you can make the strands thinner and more detailed if you like. It's all up to you how you want to draw it and shade it, but this is just my technique for how I just like sketch it quickly. So usually what I do at the end is I try to sharpen up some of the parts that I did a little bit more messy and just like add a couple more loose strands to add to the movement of the hair. Darkening my shadows here. You can kind of think of shading hair in terms of like triangles. So like little triangles are coming up from the bottom here and they come down from the top to form the highlight in the middle, if that helps. And also like the strands, the more strands you add, the more detailed it will be. Mine isn't too detailed, it's kind of like a somewhat messy sketch. I might add some more details at the end just in time lapse, but now we'll move on to the curly hair. And so there's different kinds of curly hair. There's like wavy, really tight curls, frizzy kind of curls, or like ringlets. So I think for this video I'll do the ringlet kind of curls, just showing like how you draw the structure of those. So the first thing I do again is outline the hairline, which is here. So all the hair will start from here and will come down. I think I'll put the part line about right there. And now I just want to map out where I want the curls to be. I think I want two to kind of come out from the front here. So I'll just put two little kind of triangular sort of shapes. And I want them to come down like this. I'll put one there. So these are like super fancy kind of curls. And they'll just have some down here as well. And it might have a little bit more volume up here, like this. And she could possibly have pins right there that kind of pin all her curls together and make them come out from the sides. That's the kind of hairstyle I'm going for. This time she won't have any bangs, so I'm just gonna go out and down from her part, because parts have volume, so try to make it come up and then down. And especially at the back here, make it kind of like a bird, sort of like when it goes down like that. Like these kind of birds, when you draw them flying in the sky, right there. Like a mountain, sort of, I don't really know. And some of them will go back like this, some of them will come down. The farther back you go, they should kind of approach the back of the head. I'm just gonna change this up a bit. I'm not liking where that's going. Normally I'd be rotating the paper as I was doing this, but I can't because I don't want it to be hard for you to see what I'm doing, so. Okay, so once you get to where the hair actually starts, you can kind of show it being pulled back like this if you want, because her hair is kind of getting pulled back into two kind of side pigtails. It looks a little bit too much volume for me. I'm gonna make it come down instead like this. And sometimes I like to leave a few little strands of hair that didn't quite make it into her ponytail. Just adds some more character to it, kind of. So now that I'm actually on the curls themselves, I'm just going to erase what's behind them so I can see what I'm doing. So the first thing I do when I start a curl is let's start from the top here and make it come over like this. And then you want it to cross back around like that and form kind of like a rectangle like this. And then back again like this and form another rectangle like this. So it's kind of very much a pattern. And once you get to the end, make them kind of smaller. And then it can kind of curl around like that. So I'm going to do it again on this side. I'm going to make them kind of mirror each other, so it'll go like this. And one will come down like that. Come back over. Make another rectangle shape. Come back down. Make another rectangle shape. And you want them to be kind of curved because it is hair after all, and hair isn't really stiff, it has a lot of movement to it. And then at the end you do a little curly piece. You might want to do like a couple tiny curls at the end, just like that, to make it look kind of more, to make it kind of gradually taper off of the curl. I'm just erasing my guidelines now. I'm just going to go in and add some creases. Not creases, like strands of hair. I'm going to shade in all the parts that are around the back like this, and leave all the parts that are showing at the front. I'm going to do the same thing where you have the rectangle, then you have the piece that comes down like this, then the rectangle that goes in front of it, then the piece that comes down, then the rectangle, and finish it off with a little curly bit. Now that I did the two main curls that are on the side, I'm gonna add some in the background, but it's not gonna be too detailed because you can't really see it. So I'll just do kind of the piece that comes down and then the rectangle, so the inner piece, and then shade it in a bit. Shading to the top here, I'm just going to switch to a different pencil, a lighter pencil, a 6H, like 6 hardness pencil, just to shade this in a bit. So I hope you enjoyed this video on how to draw hair, and I hope you found it helpful, and thanks for watching.